Hi, Andrew Bell here, and didn't we all get a taste of winter over the last week? Which is always exacerbated when there's crystal clear blue skies, like we've been experiencing here on the Gold Coast. But it is starting to warm up again. There's been a lot of feedback in relation to all the initiatives affecting the real estate market that came out of the 2021-22 federal budget. And of course, the inevitable question of what does that mean for real estate prices? It is really a difficult question to answer. We know the housing market has been driven over the past 8 or so months by record low interest rates, an easing of the eligibility requirements to get finance, and of course by some of the government initiatives. I think what is going to be crucial is housing finance. If you look at all the variables that are affecting the real estate market, such as GDP, it's a bright green light. Look at unemployment, it's also a green light. Currently, housing affordability is still healthy, but that will change if we don't get wage growth, and most importantly, if interest rates do rise. Now, whilst the Reserve Bank's official interest rates are still at record low settings, we're already starting to see how the market independently is factoring interest rate rises, and indeed some banks are already increasing interest rates. This will be something to watch very closely. Add to that the concerns that we have seen more openly expressed by economists and others about the impact of rising real estate prices, and there's a real possibility that regulators will tighten lending criteria. There is a direct relationship between housing finance and the movement in housing prices currently. That relationship suggests that prices are going to continue to rise at least for the next 6 months or so. What is really a sleeper at the moment, and what will probably be the trigger of some regulatory control over lending, is inflation. There are clear inflationary trends surfacing now, and we've always known that the Reserve Bank has a desire to keep inflation between 2 and 3%. As soon as it starts to move into that range and through it, they'll want to jump on it very quickly by controlling those pressures. Real estate's a huge contributor to inflation, and so looking just a little forward, that could be the big decider about how much longer real estate prices will continue to rise. Now, the federal budget measures I talked about in my last e-news are also adding further inflationary risks to housing prices. And so, whilst they are great measures to support the real estate market, they could also play a part in bringing forward the very measures that will bring price growth to an end, or at least slow it significantly. The reality is that we can't sustain the type of price growth we've experienced for the past 8 or so months indefinitely. It is somewhat of a catch-up from some of those corrections of post-GFC, but you can't keep getting 30–40% increase in prices per annum, year after year. For those who own property, this has been a wonderful period of time, but for those who are thinking about selling, don't be fooled into thinking the prices just keep rising, and the longer you hold a property, the more it's worth. The property market has always gone in cycles, and the smart person in property knows when to sell. My answer to the question of how long will prices keep rising is, whilst I have a lot of experience over my 40+ years in the industry, that experience only tells me that no one on this planet knows the answer to that question. But there are signs that suggest we have enjoyed a wonderful run and that this run can't keep being duplicated. So, make the best of the current situation. Now, this cold snap of weather is also a timely reminder that there are many Australians, and in fact a higher number than ever, who are sleeping in the streets. We look at these fellow Australians and wonder, how did they get to this position? So often it's women as a result of domestic violence. There are the unemployed. There are those with mental health and those people with addiction. However, they are all fellow Australians who by preference would not be sleeping out in the streets in the bitterly cold. And so the CEO Sleep Out is a great way for each of us to be able to help support some housing and warm food in this cold period of time for the homeless. I'm once again participating in the CEO Sleep Out tonight, and if you're able to make a small donation, you can do so by just looking at our e-news, which will show the link to the CEO Sleep Out. You know, every dollar counts. So, whilst this is all happening, stay warm, stay safe. Remember how fortunate we are to live in this amazing country. Look forward to being with you in a fortnight's time.